this bicycle. Kind of going to talk about what I've experienced the last 5 days. So 5 days ago, yours truly, Mr. Zach, sorry if I keep squinting, I'm just on my bike. You can't really see it right now. It's a little Echo Rogue bike, so I apologize for the noise. 5 days ago, today's Tuesday, the 23rd, on Thursday, the 18th, I had a stent placed in my left anterior descending artery. For those of you who watch my videos, I've referenced, I'm going to be a little breathless, by the way, sorry about that, but we're going to talk through it. Who I've referenced being breathless and chest pain and stuff like that. So I finally got a scan Wednesday morning after having been dealing with this since June 2024 after I had COVID. And the scan showed that I had an abnormal stress test. Went into the hospital, had an angiogram Thursday evening around 4:30, and they realized you have a 90% blockage in your left anterior descending artery, one of the coronary arteries. And so, this is not so much about that. What it really is, my heart rate's a little too high. Gotta slow down a little bit. Gotta let it heal. Can't go too high, just high enough. This is about the things I took from that experience. And one of the major things that I took, primarily today, that I was really realizing was how much of an impact either first responders have in our lives, and not just first responders, but I'm going to go ahead and say anybody can have in your life. On Sunday, I was walking through the grocery store, and I was thinking I didn't have enough of an impact. I didn't feel as if I was helping people at all. And I thought, you know what? I should just go back to school. I hate to toot my own horn, but I should just go back to school, become an interventional cardiologist. Because I was thinking about how grateful I was to all of the healthcare professionals that helped me in that situation. Like, I went in there with chest pain because my cardiologist said, you need to turn around and go to the ER. So I did. But I went in there with severe chest pain. And instantaneously, it was resolved thanks to the nurses, the doctor, the anesthesiologist, the CNAs, everybody in that whole system that helped me. And when I think back to my youth, going through the cancer for 7 years, it's the exact same thing. Like, I wouldn't be here today on this bicycle talking with you beautiful people if I didn't have those people in my life supporting me and helping me. But it made me think of my own life because I oftentimes do not feel as if I'm benefiting anybody. I feel like I'm just kind of spinning my wheels. And so then the parable of the starfish popped into my head, where the grandpa's hanging out with his granddaughter on the ocean, right as sunrise comes up, and they come across this beach and there's just starfish everywhere. So the little granddaughter's picking up the starfish and she's throwing them back, and grandpa just thinks, what a sweet, loving action that she's providing these starfish. But I think I'm going to teach her that there's so many of them, there's thousands of them on the shore right now. Unfortunately, they're going to have to die. Like, they're not all going to be able to survive. And it doesn't matter what she does. So he goes up to her and he says, little Jessica, sweetheart, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm just trying to throw these starfish, Grandpa. And he goes, sweetie, this is the cycle of life. Starfish, they live and they die. Unfortunately, they're going to return to the sea. There's nothing you can really do. Nothing. You can't make a dent. You can't really make that much of a difference right now. It doesn't really matter because these are going to live and die. And little Jessica's got the starfish in her hand. She looks at it and she throws it back into the ocean. She says, it matters to that one. Picks it up. It matters to that one. And I was talking with my client about this, who happens to be in the healthcare profession. And it's so fascinating how so many of the people that I talk to in the healthcare profession don't feel as if they're making a difference. When I am beyond grateful, ooh, I just scraped my wrist. You can kind of see my wrist right there. That's where they went with the catheter. Went up, gave me the stent. Pretty crazy, right? But you're making such a huge impact. And if you're somebody who's not in the healthcare profession, not a first responder, you're making a difference by the people that you're coming across. I have this conversation with Sean all the time. Being a dietitian, she feels sometimes like she's not making a difference. I feel like I'm not making a difference. But a small little action, being kind to that person, making them smile, reminding that they're human beings, that is impactful. That's making a difference. It's bringing us back into our humanity. It's bringing us back into our spiritual nature, the essence of us that is, oh, heart rate's going back up. Here we go. That is going to be reminding us that we are expressions of that one infinite presence, that one infinite source. Because that is what it is. It's you are, whether you want to recognize it or not, you are both human and spirit. You are this dichotomy. You are the yin and the yang, the yang. You are an expression of the one. And yet you have these two distinct personalities that you are having a hard time consolidating, unifying, understanding that beyond just your humanness, just beyond your spiritness, you are all. You are the infinite. And within that realm of existence, there's going to be wanted and unwanted situations. You are both the victim and the victor, the good and the bad, the joy and the suffering. You are both. That is the beauty of this human expression. It is the beauty of being a spiritual being, living out this human existence. And when we recognize ourselves as beyond that one or the other, that dichotomy, that duality, when we recognize ourselves as the one, we have freedom, we have peace, we have joy, we have bliss. Because in that moment, we are recognizing ourselves as that thing that we are. We are recognizing ourselves as the infinite, as spirit, as God. But for me, and I'm hopefully, if you're watching this, you're feeling maybe that same way, that the existence that you're living right now, you feel as if you are not being able to reach out and help others. You feel as if right now you're living small. You're playing small. But sometimes in the midst of playing small, you are helping and being of service to so many people around you. You are reminding others of kindness. You are reminding others of gratitude. You are helping others see that beauty within themselves that right in this moment they are unable to see because they're lost and caught up in the chaos of their physical reality. Those doctors, those nurses, the grocery clerk, the truck driver, anybody. You're making such a difference and such an impact on somebody's life, because without your piece in the pie, now we get to come back down. Without your piece in the pie would be incomplete. And that was part of my lesson in this journey. And I'll do a video a bit more consolidated about this later this week, but in this journey of the last 5 days for me, 6 days since Wednesday, I had to learn truly, I had to embody the acceptance and surrender of the moment. I got very unwanted news. You have a 90% blockage in your coronary artery. Shit. It's not what I wanted. And then I thought I did everything right. Obviously, I'm on this bike right now. I worked out 5 days a week. I ate a primarily plant-based vegan diet. I tried to be as grateful as I could. And yet, something happened. Something happened. And so, in that moment, it was the pivotal point of true acceptance and surrender to the moment. I couldn't talk my way out of it. I couldn't visualize my way out of it. I was in the hospital because I had an abnormal stress test, and the only way that I was going to get out of it was to go through it. Reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from the life and teachings of the Masters of the Far East. When you come to the Red Sea place in your life, when in spite of all you can do, there is no way back, there is no way round, there is no other way but through, no God, right? No spirit with a soul serene, and the dark and the storms are gone. God stills the winds, God stills the waves. God says to your soul, go on, go on, go on, go on. And so for me in that moment, even though I didn't have that thought running through my mind on Wednesday when I'm sitting there and I'm playing out this battle between I want to have go this left path, and yet the right path seems to be the one that just keeps pointing its head in. I kept feeling like, I'm gonna need this stent. I'm gonna need this stent. I'm gonna need this stent. But then my mind clinging so tightly to wanting to go this route. Oh, maybe it's just myocarditis and you can just take medication and in 3 months you'll be better. But then it's this battle. And so I was watching, not even Wednesday, Thursday all day, because I didn't get the stent placed until, and I think oh wait, I need to keep my heart rate up. Oh, I need to come down, sorry. But I didn't have that. So all day Thursday, my mom sitting there with me while Sean and my dad were working. I said, there's nothing you guys can do. But Thursday, I'm just sitting there with my mom, and my mom could see I was just in my mind. And I was just trying to figure out how I could get my way out of this, how I could manifest in that moment out of this. Go left. I want to go this way. I want to go this way. And my mom trying to keep my mind busy by talking and sharing and storytelling. And my mind kept bouncing between this hopefulness of not having the stent and then fear of having the stent and this outcome being not what I wanted to be. And this back and forth for hours and hours until finally at 4:45, they say, it's time. It's time for your time to go to the cath lab. It's time to see what's going on. And so it was this surrender that, shit, I just have to go through it, right? I don't get to go around. I don't get to go back. There's nothing I can do to change this. I have to go through this situation. And so get to the cath lab. Voila, they knocked me out. I really wanted to watch it because you can watch it on the screen, but I was very anxious because the anxiety was being caused by this back and forth game with my mind, wanting it to go one way and the fear of it going another way. And so there's this anxiety of the future. And so I was feeling that on this deep, deep level. Like, please let it, please God, please guides, please anyone who's with me. I want this outcome to be at the end where my heart feels great and I can do this bicycling without pain. I don't want to be in pain anymore. I want to be free of that. I want to live my life and have this healthy body again. But I think that the route is left. But I feel that the route is going to have to go right. So it was this anxiety of, oh no, what's going to happen in the future? So I'm in the cath lab and I'm so high, it's crazy on sedative. But I remember the flash of him saying, oh, there it is, the blockage right there. And I went, oh, shit. Shit, I knew it. And so I had to surrender, right? There's no other way through. The doctor, that interventional cardiologist, he had to go, all right, well, this is not a big deal. We just put a stent in. We'll pull out the plaque because it's all soft plaque. I'll do the video of why I think I caused it. I'm not a doctor. It's just intuitively and things that I've read, I have a reason why it happened, a lot of reasons. When it showed up, both metaphysically and physically. But, so he puts the stent in, voila. I'm out, back in my room in an hour. That was it. I just have this little tiny, I don't know if you can see it right there, little tiny suture from where the catheter was. How easy. Now I've got this stent. All I have to do is be on the medication. And my mind started going, man, I did not get what I wanted. But then as the days progressed, and now here we are on Tuesday, and after I've meditated on this and had a very deep meditation Sunday night, I actually was able to really open up my energy field. It was really weird. I just let go, and voila, it opened. But, oh, I need to pick the pace up. Sorry, the heart rate's gonna come up. Yep. Oh, heart rate's a little high. Just gonna keep it right here. But over the few days, I started to get these inspirations, these feelings like, you didn't want this path, but yet you wanted the outcome, and that was the most important thing, was that you got to the outcome, which was, now I have a beautiful, healthy heart. My artery's completely open. My lungs are feeling so much better. My heart feels normal. I feel so grateful for that. But I had to go this direction, the unwanted direction. And yet, that unwanted direction may be the best possible outcome because there was a little calcium buildup in there from when I had the radiation and the chemotherapy from when I was a teenager. So I had this calcification in my artery. And now, being as young as I am, 38 years old, having that stent in there, the skin, once the stent has opened up that artery again, and now the skin is going to grow around the artery so that the stent becomes part of that arterial wall. And there's going to be a perfect opening canal thanks to this doctor and the nurses. And my body is healing around that, which is so amazing. It's so beautiful. But in my mind at the time before the stent was placed, I thought I'm going to have to be on blood thinners my whole life, which likely I may, and that's okay. But the likelihood of me actually having a clot after the skin has grown around that stent is virtually nothing. At least that's what I've been told, which is amazing. And so that calcification that could have been causing problems further down the road for me and maybe it led to a heart attack has been eradicated pretty much by the stent being placed. And so it's this weird road of having to accept the unwanted situation and not having the perfect viewpoint to assess if that was the right route for me, which is fascinating because that's the surrender. That's the thing that we must do in all of the situations, wanted and unwanted, to get to the wanted, is that surrender state. It is the complete allowing state where it says, I have asked for this outcome, and I have to have ultimate faith, trust, belief that this outcome is assured because I'm being guided that way. It's just how that outcome transpires that is the confusing part, that creates the anxiety, that creates the fear. That's what it did to me. I was so afraid to have to be on medication the rest of my life. It's going to ruin my life. I'm going to always have to worry about developing a blood clot, blah, 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 because I didn't have the whole story. And so in life, this moment for me was such an impactful moment. And I learned a lot more too, but for me it was this ultimate, you have to trust Zach. My counsel, my guides, saying you must trust us. This is your curriculum now. This is the lesson. It is to walk in faith, not by sight. Right? That quote by many people, Les Brown maybe. Walk in faith, not by sight. And not because of some man named Jesus or anything, but because in the totality of beingness, I am an expression of God, of spirit. You watching this is an expression of God, of spirit. And then I happened to come across Ram Dass, and he says, in this duality that we see, right, the physical reality is duality. When we're thinking unwanted and wanted, when we achieve that state of true knowledge, right, the supreme wisdom, the supreme knowledge, and not just the thinking, but when we have that in our being, when we are truly feeling that, and we're seeing things that are happening that are less than desirable, we can say, yes, and this too. Right? That's something that's been my mantra the last few days. Yes, and this too. The thing that I don't want so badly, going that direction, having to get the stent placed, I can say to myself, in the scheme of this physical reality, because it is just temporary, and I love being here and I love talking with you guys, that yes, this discomfort is part of that existence, and that will inspire the new lesson, the new growth, the new curriculum for me to learn from in this temporary physical life, so that I can achieve that state of supreme wisdom, so that I could achieve, maybe not achieve, but recognize that state of alignment and union with the one, with God, with Source. These, right, suffering, or what is it? There's mercy in suffering, or there is grace in suffering. Such a beautiful quote, because grace, being the infinite God, Source, is going to give us grace, is going to give us this reminder that we are expressions of that we are that in the most uncomfortable moments of our life. We are going to get to question the nature of our reality, of our existence, of how we want to go forward in the rest of our days through these unwanted situations, right? These suffering situations. Even though suffering is merely a state of mind. I was suffering deeply because I was so focused on wanting to go right or wanting to go left and afraid of going right. So because I didn't surrender, I didn't accept the moment for what it was, I was suffering deeply. You know, like that is our suffering. It was just a happening. It was just an experience. But instead of really truly owning the experience, which I did my best to, I'm not going to lie, I did try to do my very best to accept it. In the midst of that unwanted situation, I tried to force my way out of it. And so that's just another lesson, right? It's just another chance for growth. That experience gave me so much contrast to thrust me forward into spiritual awakening. You would have thought that having cancer twice would have done that for me, and yet here I am, having another physical experience, helping me understand my inability to accept things as they are and wanting to control things into the way that I want to be. But yet now, my curriculum, I'm going to calm down a little bit, my curriculum is to integrate that state of understanding, is to integrate that state of allowing, and to accept that the fear that I was experiencing was merely a state of my own mind. That fear that I was experiencing while I'm sitting there waiting for the doctors to come take me down to the catheter lab was just a state of dissociation, not accepting that I had two routes. I had two paths. And that's it. Because both paths were going to lead to the destination. And that destination being where I am now, talking with you guys, having done 25 minutes on the bicycle keeping my heart rate in the right zone to keep everything clear, my heart feeling great, my lungs feeling great, my body feeling great. How beautiful is that when we can find the grace amidst the suffering, the lesson within the trial. And we see that throughout history, and yet we forget because we don't want that. We want to force out. I know I want to. I want to force out the unwanted. Heck, I've been doing that on these videos for the last 10 years, talking about how we can control reality. Sometimes, and yes, you can. Buddha said, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract, and what you imagine, you create. So yes, we have this wise sage saying this to us. But within that desire to control external reality, where there's true strength is in accepting the moment as it is and feeling with all of your being, this is for me, feeling with all of your being that either path will lead you to the correct outcome. And so my suggestion, we have like 4 more minutes before I'm done with this. Just letting my heart rate calm down a little bit. My suggestion to you, based upon the experiences that I just had, are to, in those moments, ask yourself, and I should have asked myself this, can I change this situation? No? Beautiful. I have nothing to worry about. And if I ask myself, can I change this situation? And I say yes, then beautiful. I have nothing to worry about. Either way, it's going to work out. And even beyond that, once you leave this physical body, you will have so much understanding and compassion for yourself. I kind of want to finish this video, even though nobody's watching live, but hopefully the people that watch this afterwards really have made it this far. I'm going to save this nugget of wisdom for those that made it this far. As I was meditating on Sunday night, this repetitive phrase kept banging in my head. And it was from the council, my guides, yours too. And they said, God's source loves you and accepts you exactly as you are. God's source loves you and accepts you exactly as you are. God's source loves you. Oh, there's Odin and Shauna. Here they come underneath the, you can't see it, but they know that the video is going because I can see Shauna's feet moving underneath the garage, so she gets to hear it. And Odin too. They have to go through the front door because they're done with their walk. But God's source loves you and thinks you are worthy exactly as you are. God's source loves you and sees you as worthy exactly as you are. So bringing it full circle to what we talked about in the beginning, your worthiness is not in question. It's up to you to accept that about yourself. Your love, your support around you is not in question. It's the journey for you to accept that into your heart. It's my journey, as it is your journey, to recognize that I am loved, which I was reminded by throughout this whole experience. My God, Shauna, perfect woman, my mom, my dad, my clients and friends, all extending their love and support to me. But even beyond their love and support, that thing that we call Source, God, loves me and sees me as worthy, knows my worth exactly as I am, exactly as you are. And we don't have to change that. We don't have to earn the love that is being given to us. We don't have to earn the worth that is being given to us. You are loved. You are worthy. You are safe and you are protected. Right? I always finish the videos with that because that's the truth. You and I, we are loved. We are safe. We're protected and we are worthy. That is from the source. That is from God. That is from that infinite creative presence. So your work is to allow that into your life, not question it anymore. Accept that. And on that note, we've reached our 30 minutes. I'm done for the night. Thanks for joining me. I love you guys. And hopefully you got something from this. And I will talk to you next time. Turn that off. Turn this off. Bye.